folks, we are in for what is going to be defined as a second wave. And no, I'm not talking about a second wave for the virus. That's kind of been up in the air. Everybody kind of knew it was happening. Other people had it happen earlier to them than others. Here in Vancouver, if you want the situation, yeah, things have been very, very heavy. Cases have been on the rise. Things have been locked down. We've had Bonnie Henry coming out here talking about more stuff. But no, that is not the second wave I'm referring to. Today we're talking about what Thomas Drance wrote about in his recent piece in The Athletic, because this is a very, very good point that I think everybody has kind of already known and understood, but just having an article laying everything down in stone and me making a video just establishing this as the idea here, I think it's more of a necessity and a formality, I guess, rather than here's a brand new piece of breaking news that'll blow your mind. Because no, this is something that I think I've known for a while, you've probably known this for a while, everybody's been kind of knowing about it, but it is something that I think deserves its own video topic. So let's talk today about the NHL second wave. This is the article here on The Athletic written by Thomas Drance, published 2 days ago. There's just no dance partners as to why the NHL is in a major transactions pause. So, link as always in the description to the Athletic article. Go ahead and read it if you have the Athletic, but because it's paid for material, we're going over on Spectre's Hockey. Their most recent article from December 3rd, yesterday, highlights Thomas Drance's piece, and it goes over it in the first little section. Thomas Drance observes it's been nearly 8 weeks since an NHL trade was made and a month since the last UFA signings. Dominic Cahoon with the Oilers. The last trade, I believe, was that Vancouver, Nate Schmidt, 3rd round pick? I'm not sure. My memory is kind of hazy. Again, it's been 8 weeks. That's 2 months, bro. 2 months. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Oh my gosh. But there are still discussions and negotiations going on amongst general managers and player agents. So that's kind of what we've been talking about here as well before we continue on with this idea here. Even though we haven't had any moves happening, it does not mean in the slightest that NHL GMs have just stopped. You know, they're still picking up the phones, they're still dialing the numbers, they're still talking to each other. They hopefully still have the group chats and the group emails going on, and they're probably still talking to player agents. But it's just been so long since anything has actually been done that it kind of feels a little bit Stockholm Syndrome-ish, kind of going back and forth and just waiting for that inevitability to make itself come out. Drance cites an NHL player agent saying those markets have slowed of late because of ongoing uncertainty over when the 2020-2021 season will begin. We want to see what develops out of this, said the agent. At this point, it doesn't make sense to do something until we know what things look like. The agent, who represents one of the top UFAs, said the teams remain interested in his client, but some of them are waiting. Clarity on provisional rules, such as recalling players from the minors, could also affect UFA signings. There's talk of allowing teams to use a so-called taxi squad of players this season who can be reassigned and disappear from a team's cap payroll, perhaps without having to pass through waivers. Now that is a completely separate idea that I just thought was very interesting too. Imagine having those kind of players on your team that you don't need to have waivers for, and that can actually be removed from your cap. And wow, that's weird, man. That's really weird. 2020's got some really crazy stuff for us in store here, but this indeed is the case that I think everybody has kind of already known, but just having it in writing does kind of, make things feel a little bit more secure, I guess. I don't even know if that's the right way to put it, but it's just, it's nice having it acknowledged, I guess, that the certainty of the 2020-2021 season is the entire obstacle here. And we've heard it from several parties that they want to get a season done, that having no season would be virtually impossible here because it would be somewhat illegal to not have a season with people holding out or whatever. So we know that there's going to be a season, probably. It's just we don't know too many of the details. And of course, the big caveat and the big hurdle is indeed the virus. It's not the idea that the owners or the players want to rescind what it was that they said before. No, it's just what they said before in the earlier CBA. It didn't take into account the longer potential of this virus to make its way through, and the borders to shut down and the lockdowns to be enforced heavily, even more so than they were before. That's the big problem, because we don't know how things are going to go. Furthermore, the fans in the stands, the money and all that stuff. There was an article I read, or I think it was a tweet, I'm not too sure, talking about whether or not we'd have advertisements on jerseys this year, just so the NHL can make up for that lost revenue. Don't quote me on that, that's just something I think I saw somewhere, but there needs to be a way to make money in this climate, and having no fans in the building is one of the biggest things. So, once the season gets settled down, once we know when things are going to be set in stone, that's when I think Drance is saying, yeah, agents and GMs and all that stuff, they're going to make their moves once we know what's going on. Drance believes a second wave of trade and free agent signings will begin once the league and the NHLPA agree to a start date for the season. He notes there are 5 UFAs who produced at least 30 points last season, as Mike Hoffman has, as well as some decent depth forwards like Kovalchuk, Perry, Athanasiou. Defense options include Chara and Travis Hamonic. Here's Spector's note on the matter. He agrees with Thomas Drance talking about the factors. Other free agents are available, Granlund, Duclair, Vatanen. However, they could be forced to accept inexpensive one-year deals given the teams with small amounts of cap space to invest into the free agent markets. And that makes the most sense to me. Once everything comes back, that's when the big second wave is going to go down. We'll see players get put on LTIR. We'll see teams that are up against the cap or over the cap make some moves. We'll see other players get signed, and we'll see the whole shape of the league in its entirety shift. What's going to happen with Tampa Bay? They're going to have to make some moves. Tyler Johnson, Alex Killorn, one of these guys may be on the move. Who knows? They need to re-sign Eric Chernak. That's a move they still need to make. The Vancouver Canucks, is it Furlan that goes on the LTIR? I have no idea. We have some other teams over there as well. Detroit still has a whole bunch of cap space, as do the Predators, the Kings, the Devils, the Sens. These teams have money. Are they going to use it? And if so, on what? In the comment section below, I want you to tell me, what do you think is going to get done first? Because when it comes to these players, we kind of know that, Hoffman, Duclair, Athanasiou, Granlund, these guys are not going to be free agents for the entire year. They're going to sign. We're going to see these players on new teams. It's just an inevitability. It's going to happen. But what happens first? Who signs first? What's the first team that makes a trade? Who do you expect to be involved in the first headline for the NHL's second wave of, what do I even call it? Off-season, I guess? Free agency period? Signing period? Trade period? I'm not sure. Because normally when it comes to July 1st, that's normally what people would call the free agent deadline frenzy day or whatever it's called. Free agent frenzy. Yeah, deadline. What in the world was I thinking about deadline? Yeah, free agent frenzy. That's what happens on July 1st. But this time we have ourselves another free agent frenzy, a trade rumor frenzy kind of period that's going to happen for the second time this offseason once the NHL gets finalized for its next year's season, and I can't wait to see it because there are so many people that are going to be on the move, and I just want to see what happens to these guys, Duclair, Athanasiou, Granlund. I want to see what happens with Chara. I want to see what happens with Sami Vatanen and Hamonic. There are so many different stories here, and there's so much to uncover. So talk to me in the comments what you think about this stuff. What happens first? What is the move that you want to see the most? And if your favorite team is in a position where they need to do something, what do you want them to do? Talk to me in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. Trolls is 99, and bye.